Global warming has been a concern since the 1800s. During that time, scientists discovered that burning coal and certain fossil fuels raised Earth's temperature. Today, global warming concerns have reached significant headlines as the temperature continues to rise. As a result, carbon dioxide and other pollutant rates have increased, especially in Texas. There are many concerns involving global warming, and countries are starting to enforce specific policies to lessen the effect of global warming. Therefore, to comprehend policies the Texas government could implement to mitigate its carbon dioxide, one must understand the main concerns regarding global warming and the severity of Texas's carbon footprint in the United States. A primary concern regarding global warming is the self-inflicted pollution caused by humans. Melissa Denchak of the Natural Resources Defense Council wrote, according to the National Climate Assessment, human influences are the #1 cause of global warming, especially the carbon pollution caused by burning fossil fuels and the pollution capturing that is prevented by destroying forests. Human behavior has harmed climate change, while pollution and deforestation continue. Higher death rates in humans are another concern that involves global warming. Over the years, temperature has increased, making it difficult for humans to survive. The higher the temperature, the greater demand for clean water, a scarce resource. It is also of concern that the weather affects people financially too. According to the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, in 2015 there were 10 weather and climate disaster events in the United States, including severe storms, floods, drought, and wildfires that caused at least $1 billion in losses. Furthermore, Texas also has a massive impact on the nation's carbon footprint. According to Marshall and Thompson, 2019, Texas emits more carbon dioxide gas, a leading contributor to climate change, than any other state in the U.S. In 2018 alone, the Permian Basin produced 32% of the nation's crude oil. Due to Texas's energy industry, one can understand why so much emission is discharged. However, there are ways to change the narrative. First, Texas could make it mandatory for companies to invest in equipment to reduce carbon emissions. The Texas Emissions Reduction Plan, TERP, gives grants to companies to reduce emissions. However, more needs to be done, so making companies mandatory is better to head in the right direction. Secondly, the state of Texas has already established a regulation that dictates what companies dealing with air contaminants must follow, known as Chapter 101 General Air Quality Rules. Nonetheless, the state of Texas could develop a policy that will educate Texas's business owners or investors. The policy should include educational materials regarding climate change, with the goal for Texas to become the minor contributor of carbon dioxide in the United States. Such a policy should be clear, concise, but snappy, which will motivate stakeholders to get on board to mitigate global warming. Lastly, the state of Texas could implement a policy that reduces and ultimately stop the use of fossil fuel and convert to solar energy. Carbon dioxide is not ideal for the environment, as it destroys the ozone layer and causes more significant catastrophes in the long run. In the end, there have been many concerns related to climate change from the 1800s until today. Yet, humans tend to talk more and do little to mitigate the effects. In some regions of the world, sea levels are rising, and there are greater risks for flooding. In Texas, the weather has changed, short winters, less cold, and longer summers. Politicians and world leaders have the power to make changes that can impact society, so they must be proactive and start implementing better policies to mitigate the impact of climate change.